Welcome back to Dark Corners Undead.
Welcome back to Dark Corners Undead.
Thank you. Right. What should we talk about first?
Horror Smackdown. By the time this airs, we will have wrapped up this round.
This round, round 2.
Round 2 is all wrapped up, and we're into round 3.
Is it crazy, given that it's finishing on Halloween, it seems crazy we've only just got through round 2. I understand the rounds get progressively shorter,
Good.
but it's just... it's amazing. But yeah. Sorry, you were going to say something else.
No, that's fine.
Oh,
that's
right.
fine.
How do you think it's going?
Maybe I'm disappointed that The Exorcist got beaten by Frankenstein, or maybe I'm like, yes, that result was right.
Right, okay. Yeah, we don't know how that one's going.
So, but other than that,
yeah. The next round will be interesting. I will be interested to see how people respond to the Devil's Advocate thing. It's actually been really cool writing them.
I haven't read your scripts of them yet, so I don't know what style you've written them in. So I had an idea of how I was going to write them, and I might have to change my mind.
I'm almost convincing myself.
I was going to do it full on, tongue in cheek, taking it really. Have you taken it seriously?
I've taken it seriously.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
okay, I don't necessarily agree with these. I'm not saying that, but
yes,
I'm absolutely putting forward this point of view.
Yeah.
Without any tongue in cheek.
Yes, and some of the points stupid, or
some of the points are contestable.
Yes.
But actually, when you watch the films and you read criticism that exists of these films, you think, okay, that's a point that can be argued. Even if I don't agree with it, I will argue it. Cool. I think that's reasonable.
So you didn't go for yucks?
No.
All right. It's good for me to know.
Okay. That would have imbalanced it quite considerably. Right, moving on. Yeah, I could talk about something I've been doing recently.
Go for it.
Some of you know I volunteer at the Cinema Museum here in London. It's Elephant Castle. You should check it out. And there was a Ray Harryhausen night there recently, which was really cool. One of the trustees of the Harryhausen Foundation came along, John Walsh, who presented a documentary that he'd made about Harryhausen back when he was a student. Not when Harryhausen was a student, when Walsh was a student.
I think people got that.
Yeah. Well, it's worth clarifying.
Yeah.
And it was fascinating. It's amazing. I've always been when I was a kid, I loved the films. Really interested in stop motion, and sort of as I got older, I became more interested in them as films, as opposed to just enjoying them as films, which I still do. So I've read a great deal about them. I think I've read most of the books, the sort of the official biographies and stuff. And yet there's still stuff that I didn't know.
Did you find out anything new?
This sounds like a really boring thing, but it fascinated me. I found out that he cut his own sprocket holes in the film that he used just to prevent that slight camera shake, which I thought was I think you have to have that sort of mind if you are a stop motion animator, that you're willing to go to those lengths. It's that just sort of attention to detail is maybe what marks his work out from other people.
Yeah,
and it's fascinating. And I know that he was a hoarder as well by nature, and it means that they're sort of essentially doing clearing out his garage. And still coming across undiscovered pictures, undiscovered bits of models and armatures that from like 40, 50 years ago.
You also talk about these failures he didn't want to show.
Yeah. They did some test footage. He did test footage of for various of his films. The one that John Walsh spoke about was Clash of the Titans. And they did a test sequence with Pegasus. If you've watched the film, Pegasus sort of runs like a horse as he's flying. And they did test footage without, because of course he's not actually got anything to gallop on. So they just did test footage without him galloping. And they said it just looked like a dead horse with wings being floated around. And that footage exists, a lot of this footage exists, but will probably, and certainly not in the foreseeable future, be shown because Harryhausen said there's stuff he didn't want shown, and they're trying to stick to his wishes as much as possible.
It's very good.
That's very laudable. I'd like to see it, but I think it's very laudable.
But yes, you can follow them on Twitter.
You can follow them on Twitter here, and on Facebook here.
Facebook, yes, and it'll be down below in that area.
And they're doing something. What's it called? The Harryhausen 100, which they're gearing up into at the moment, which you can read about. I'm not going to go into it here, but you can read about. They just selected a logo for it, which was done via a competition. And there's lots of interesting stuff, and it's all worth looking at if you're a fan.
Excellent. Right.
And why wouldn't you be?
But let's get back to, I guess, what people really want to talk about. So last
Horror
time,
films, any chance?
Last time we saw you were tied down to a chair,
yes,
kidnapped by someone unknown.
Unknown.
And brutally shaved.
Yes. Just when I decided to keep the hair, the decision passed out of my hands.
And you don't know where the hair is now.
I do not. Where the hair? No, I don't know where. What do you think? I'm going to stick it back on?
No,
I don't know where the hair is now.
You don't know where the hair is now.
That was
what
the
I'm
least
saying.
of my worries in that situation. Was.
But like afterwards,
what's he going to do with my hair?
After you know.
Yeah.
Wasn't around you when you regained consciousness.
No.
Well.
And it's here tonight.
Have a look at this.
You'll recall several weeks ago that the results for Hard Corner of the Month were announced, and W was the lucky winner of that one. I can't help feeling that there was someone out there a little more deserving of that title. It's me. It is me. So, unfortunately, you chose the wrong person. Now, don't worry yourself, Robin. I'm not gonna ask for an explanation as to how this little slip-up happened. You know, I understand human error, admin, etc., paperwork. But one thing I will ask for is that you rightly give me the title of Hard Corner of the Month. I do have some consequences lined up for if you fail to cooperate, Robin. Now, before I get ahead of myself, you'll realise that you don't have any hair, which is a drastic shame because you were growing it for so long, weren't you? Now, you'll be glad to know that I've been keeping the hair very, very safe. Nothing has happened to it yet. It won't be safe, however, for too much longer, unless you comply with my demands. Excuse me, waiter, there's some hair in my soup. What you see here is this piece that used to hang at the back there. My personal favourite piece. Don't worry, the rest of it is safe too. But, I think we'll do a bit of bribery. Oh, careful. I said be careful. Oh, please, no. Unless you want me to have some fun with the rest of what I have in your hair, then...
Stinks.
Yeah, I know it does. Then I suggest you just simply do as I say. It's really not... Ooh, too much of a drastic...
Longer.
5 more minutes. It's not too much to ask, is it? Just make me a hard corner, please.
And how does that make you feel?
Some fun.
So many emotions. What the fuck?
Did you realise that Hard Corner of the Month had become so competitive that Ben went to such lengths?
Well, I'm slightly worried about when people campaign again next month. I'm a little worried about what's going to happen. I think we should make this a rule for future contests.
No
if you're campaigning,
no shaving Robin to win.
Well, I was going to say no kidnapping me or cutting off any body parts of any kind. I mean, I just worried that this situation might escalate.
So what are you saying, that you're not going to honour Ben's deal of returning your hair so it can be donated to charity and thus awarding him Hard Corner of the Month?
Well, I don't know about that. I'm frankly concerned about what he might do next.
But you're going to need to make a decision.
On the one hand, we don't negotiate with terrorists. Not in my dark corner of this world.
On the other hand, the Little Princesses Trust...
On the other hand, the Little Princess Trust does want my hair. And who could blame them?
Apparently, Little Princesses Trust do negotiate with terrorists.
Do they?
Yes.
You're the problem with the world.
So do you accept his deal?
I feel like I've got no choice.
Excellent. Well then, Ben, on return of Robin's hair, you shall be awarded Hard Corner of the Month.
And not before.
And not before. Do you know approximately how many hairs he removed? I'm just saying, because if he hasn't returned them all...
Right. You know what? The majority is probably fine.
There you go.
The Little Princess Trust doesn't want the short hairs.
We tried that.
Very different trust.
Excellent. So, with that in mind, no Hard Corner of the Month. This month, Ben, on return of their hair, you shall be begrudgingly declared Hard Corner of the Month.
I just feel like this encourages entirely the wrong behaviour.
Maybe.
Yeah, you don't have to work. You didn't get tased, tortured, and shaved.
So I didn't have much hair to begin with, so it's not. I wouldn't be feeling the loss.
It will grow back.
It will grow back. All right. Last up, horror vote.
We haven't done this for a while. Vote on the next film, or not the next film, but the next film we prioritise for a review. We've picked 4 films, all directed by Bert I. Gordon, director of Amazing Colossal Man, War of the Colossal Beast, and the 4 we're about to list. So, in no particular order, Empire of the Ants. You know anything about that?
I'm assuming it's something to do with ants, and since it's him, giant ants.
Right. The Magic Sword.
I'm assuming is something about a giant magic sword.
I think that's less likely, but
just knowing his style.
You see, I'm making fun of you, but the next title is Village of the Giants. So we may have hit on something.
This is about midgets.
Yes, yeah. This is the only one that's not about giants. And Beginning of the End, which we do know.
Which do you know is a giant grasshopper?
Locust.
Is it locust?
I think there was some. I seem to remember watching it and being confused by the terms they were using because I think it's slightly different in America.
They just made shit up.
Giant.
I think
maybe grasshoppers. Yeah,
I thought it was grasshoppers.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Giant grasshoppers, but I think maybe they were locusts in the film.
Yeah, I think it was insect enough for them, much in the same way that lizards duplicate as dinosaurs.
Right. So, 2 giant insects films. There may be giant insects in Village of the Giants as well. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Could well
and
be.
What about a magic sword?
Which kills giant insects? Maybe.
Maybe. You'll have to vote to find out.
So there we are. Vote for your favourites.
Yeah, vote for your favourites in the comments below, and we'll prioritise it. Anything else?
No.
No.
I think that's everything.
Keep watching, keep sharing. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Oh! Goodness me, how terrible. Oh! Yeah, that's it. Hang on. Pause it. What do you mean the key doesn't turn? It was working yesterday. Just do it.